When you talk about farming, there's risk involved. We're putting an awful lot of dollars into the ground in the spring. A lot of times those dollars are borrowed, and you expect to get something at the end of the year. So that's a huge risk, very huge risk. When you're talking about broccoli and sweet corn compared to agronomic crops, field corn and soybeans, you're talking $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 an acre crops. That's a lot of risk and a lot of stress. So we're going to do what we can to make sure we have that crop. I'm Brian Campbell, consider myself a family farmer. I actually got started when I was 14 years old. I loved being on the farm. I was always following my father. He farmed as a hobby. Whether I was sitting, on the seat in the combine or sitting on the floor on the toolbox while he was combining, I just loved it. So that started when I was 14. I had a little roadside stand. That produce stand continued. I still have it today. Early on, I made some communications with Walmart. I can remember very early on going into a store and, where do you buy your pumpkins from? Most people in Walmart, the people that work there, don't know who buys Walmart's pumpkins. So it was a chore for me to find that out. So after many phone calls, I finally, found out. So I started off with a couple loads the first year with pumpkins, and then the next year grew a little bit more. To today, we're up about 200 tractor-trailer loads of pumpkins alone with Walmart. We then moved into sweet corn with them also, broccoli and leaf lettuces currently to round out the year. We are in the northern end of Columbia County on one of our farms that's the furthest north that we go. It's highly productive because it's creek bottom ground. It does have the potential to flood as any ground next to the creeks do, which brings to mind 2011. We had broccoli and cauliflower here for the fall. And there was a substantial amount of rain at the beginning of September and wiped all the broccoli and cauliflower out. And as most people know, pumpkins don't like excessive water either. So that time frame we got that year did not help the pumpkin harvest. Ended up being a disaster year for ourselves. The whole farm revenue insurance wasn't available back then. So had it been available, we would have been able to, survive a little better than we currently are. So things have been tight here since 2011. I don't know many people that could have made it through that. We're doing $4 million right now, gross dollar volume. My debt level is fairly high for what I'm doing right now. When I got hammered, I didn't have the funds to dig out of that hole. So I had the bank saying, we can't give you any more money. We can't give you the monies that you need to operate, so what are you going to do? My father co-signed on a small operating line that allowed me the funds to get through that year. Whole farm revenue insurance should be very promising, to the financials and to the banks because I'm now able to be covered. So under a catastrophic loss, which I had in 2011, there's going to be some funds to put back in, from that. So that gives me comfort. I'm encouraged by whole farm revenue. I've had it now for 2 years, and probably one of the most encouraging things is the fact that RMA is working with the growers, I'm going to say, to develop what's needed to be properly insured. And I've got some pressures to quit doing so much, and I did wrestle. You never quit in wrestling. Could be the third period, and you might be down by a couple points, or you may be up by a couple points. You never quit. You continue going. You do better. You continue to learn. And that's what's in my heart. So my future is the sky. The sky's the limit with me. I love what I do.